And so when people start talking about BFE, this is the E they're talking about. Coming at you with another trucking vlog. Man, I'm excited about this one. I tell you, it shows me I'm doing the right thing for work. I felt like a little kid on Christmas Eve. I was so excited. I had trouble sleeping last night. One thing I've never been good at, I'm not the guy who gets up real early and can get going and everything like that. And in order to be up at 4, I tried going to bed last night at 9, and I just, going to bed early, getting up early is just something I've struggled with my entire life. Now, where I make up for that is like, okay, I can stay up all night, no problem. I can stay up 36, 48 hours and still be pretty functional at the end. So, I mean, that's kind of where I shine at. But what I am bad at is getting up early. And so last night I do the responsible thing, knowing I need to be up at 4, get on the 8 East freeway. I'll show you this drive I love so much. You tried to go to bed at like 9 and, laying there, 9:30 rolls around. I did this same load middle of the week, and I started thinking about it. It's like, that last right turn I did into the place was kind of tight. It's like I started looking like, is there a different route I could go that's truck safe, that gets me doing a left into this street rather than a right? And I found one. And so that's like 9:30, put the phone down, try to go back to bed. 10 o'clock rolls around. It's like, you know what? I should go ahead and get the invoice ready for this. That way I like being prepared. So I sit there and like a dork, I just sit there and realize you probably can't see me. That's all right. I get the invoice all set up, and I'll turn the light on later when I stop. But anyway, I get the invoice all taken care of, and then like I lay there and something else pops into my mind. It's like that popcorn machine mind. It's just one more thing. It's just one more thing. I am positive I was up at 1:30 in the morning, just screwing around. Same 4 a.m. alarm set. Got up at 4, hopped in the shower, got ready, got Lou fed, took him for a little walk, heading there now. But I'm just not good at waking up in the morning. Where I fell in love with this drive is I'm leaving El Cajon now, getting on the 8 East, heading out to the desert. I should probably warn you up front. I was saying desert the other day in front of my kid, and he goes, "Say it again." And I said, "Desert." And he goes, "Dad, it's with a T, not a D." So if I say desert rather than desert, it's just in my mind right now. Like, oh yeah, that's just a word I've said wrong my whole life. But you know what I'm talking about, the place with the snakes and the sand and it's hot. But that's where I'm heading now. Where I fell in love with this drive was about 20 years ago. I had a job working for Walmart. And I was based out of here in San Diego, but they needed people. They did this neat little thing where if you had, they would pay you your hourly wage to drive. And this kind of proves to me, at least, that even 20 years ago when I was just getting into pharmacy and everything like that, I had a little bit of trucker in me at that point, because when I found out that, like, wait a minute, you're gonna pay me my pharmacist wage to drive a car, I worked that system like a champ. I mean, they would say, okay, I'd be off for, let's say, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they'd be like, oh, we need somebody in Calexico for those 3 days. Well, what I would do, what I mean by work it is, I would go out there and I'd do the Friday shift in Calexico. I would pick a different location to drive to, and then I'd come back and do the Sunday shift on Calexico. The fact that they were willing to pay me my wage at the time to just drive was like, I absolutely thought I was getting away with something, and I like the feeling of feeling like I'm getting away with something. And so I did that for like a quarter, and I think I made my year's salary. Speaking of Walmart, this one right here we just passed off of Las Coaches. This was my home store, but they would pay to send me out there. This is where I used to come up to for work. But yeah, they would pay me my wage to drive, and I basically made in a quarter what I normally would make all year just from driving around. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And so, going out to El Centro, they had a location that may or may not be there. I don't even know anymore. There was one in Calexico, El Centro, and Imperial. And I just love this drive. I mean, there's so much. It's a pretty drive. There's not a lot of traffic, especially on like a Sunday morning. There's going to be none, and we're going to hopefully get to see a beautiful sunrise, and I'm excited to do it. All right, got the light set up. You can see me now. I just said there's no traffic, as all these, we just passed it, but people coming on 8 West, there was traffic, and it's like, oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Not affecting me heading 8 East. We'll see as we keep going on, but I'll tell you about this load a little bit. I love doing these little short trips. I love, feeling accomplished, getting some, earning some money, doing that kind of stuff. And I love staying local. I'm insured to go lower 48. I mean, I could do that, and I'm not knocking OTR. I just really do enjoy kind of, being around the house, being able to see the kids, see the wife, all that kind of stuff like that. And anyway, they had this little trailer adjustment thing out there. Now, one thing I will say, especially when I work with like other brokers and stuff like that, a lot of times on these short distance trips, they like to focus on the miles. They're like, oh, it's just 20 miles. It's just, like we're trying to move it for $150, $200. And it's like, listen, for me to get this big truck to show up, and the diesel and the cost of running a business and everything, like $200 isn't going to work. And so, but on these little short hops that you'll see around town, a lot of times they'll focus on that. And it's like where I like to redirect it. And I'll be honest, I'm not perfect at it. It doesn't work all the time. But what I like to redirect their attention to is like the time involved. Yeah, it might be 20 miles, but if I'm using my trailer, I mean, we're talking an hour, 2 hours getting loaded. We're talking an hour, 2 hours getting unloaded, and those are best case scenarios. And so on this one, this was one that they, when I saw these people, they needed a trailer adjustment out in the desert, and I want to be sure that I'm accounting for my time, my fuel, because, I mean, let's be realistic. If I lived out in the desert, I might be willing to do it for cheaper, but the fact that I have to drive all the way out there to do this short little hop and then drive all the way back, I have to account for that. And they were cool with it, and they were actually, because it was kind of like 911 for them, they were throwing a lot of money at this, and it was like, okay, that works. I mean, every side's happy. Well, here's the thing. I got a message from them when it was done. They said, listen, we love your level of communication. We love your we love your level of diligence. We have another one of these over the weekend. And I thought, because it was last minute, middle of the week, I thought like, oh, there's probably, they're probably not going to offer this rate again. And I said, my first question was, could we keep the rate the same? And they said, absolutely. And so I'm excited about that. I mean, this might, like I'm trying to put my best foot forward. I do communicate well. I'm kind of not into self-promotion that much, but I mean, I am a good communicator. If you give me a list of steps, I'm good at following those steps. You want a picture of this, a picture of that, cool, I'll take care of it. So just trying to put my, best foot forward, present my company in the best way I can. And, if this turns into a regular thing, I mean, this would absolutely be a blessing. And so when people start talking about BFE, this is the E they're talking about. I mean, we're talking about getting out here, finding this spot with just GPS coordinates. Got to see that beautiful sunrise come up. I can't win with washing the truck. You want to know when the next fire, thunderstorm, rare San Diego thunderstorm that's going to happen? Just watch when I wash my truck. Washed the truck 2 days ago. The glass is disastrous, but we had a fire about 1.5 miles from where I parked the truck.
A fast-moving brush fire forcing evacuations in Spring Valley. The Lodge fire.
Got Lou up there waiting for me. I need to, now that it's daytime and I can actually see it, I need to clean the glass. But out here in the desert, got to take this flannel off pretty soon because it was cool in San Diego. It's already 90 degrees here, 7 in the morning. Or not even 7 in the morning, 90 degrees. So anyway, just beautiful out here. I am going to drive those 31 miles to the drop-off spot. What's that saying in trucking? If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. I was due here at 7, shooting for 6:30. Got the trailer safety inspected, checked it. One thing I will say, if you're new to trucking, you're getting into this game, and you find yourself, what I'm doing right now is called power only. It's just like I provide the truck. I do have my own trailer. Sometimes I use it for, trailer required loads, but especially if you're hauling somebody else's trailer. So my truck's providing the power to move the trailer. I suppose that's why they call it power only. But you definitely, pictures are your friend. I noticed this trailer had a little bit of back end damage on the left side. I want to be sure that I get a picture of that shows the lot where it is, so that I can essentially prove that hey, when I showed up, it had that damage on it. The last thing you want to do is end up in a situation where, you know, I dropped this trailer off, the owner of this trailer, I don't even know who the owner of this trailer is, but they're like, well, who's the last carrier that touched it? And they're like, oh, it was Stat Trucking. Well, let's put a file, let's file a claim against his insurance. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh no, it was like that. It's like, take pictures. Really ahead of the game. I'm not due over in Imperial till like 9. I'm gonna get there at about, let's say 7:25. So yeah, just excited to be ahead of schedule, and we're gonna knock this day out. I mean, I should be back at my house in San Diego 11-12 o'clock at the latest. So I mean, maybe Lou and I stop and get some food, maybe we take him for a little walk, but so far this is just like you're never supposed to say stuff is easy in trucking. I'm not saying trucking is easy, but so far this is going exactly to how I saw it in my mind. Man, at the drop, customer is happy. Getting this load done. It is right now 7:40. I'm not even due here till 9 o'clock. So I mean, what do they say in trucking? That whole, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. I like keeping these things ahead of schedule. Can't really film too much here because today I'm out here working for the man. This is a government job. So anyway, gonna go disconnect from this trailer. That damage I was talking about that I took a picture of, I may have a picture come up, I don't know, but in case I don't show it, it was right here. I definitely want to document this and just let them know that, like, hey, it was like that at the pickup spot and it wasn't me, because last thing I want to do is have some claim against my insurance. Not that they would do that, but just, you know, cover your bases type of thing. Gonna go get back in the truck, get out of El Centro. All right, so just left the customer. I was at the pickup spot in the middle of the desert. I was thinking, like, you know, I should clean my glass. I'm so glad I didn't. I'm driving through, as you can see, the agriculture part of El Centro, Imperial, whatever you want to call this. And there's like, now, had I cleaned it, there's like a million little dead bugs on the window. So I'm gonna get out of the agriculture section, stop at a little gas station up on the way home, and I'm gonna work on sending them. I like staying on top of this stuff. I'm gonna work on sending them the invoice. I'll show you what that looks like, and then I am gonna get out and clean the glass there, because this is, you know, how embarrassing that I make videos that show off the filthy glass like this. But customer was thrilled. They, you know, getting it done like an hour and 20 minutes before I was even due there. And you know, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm just trying to put my best foot forward. I mean, if they want communication, I can bring that. You know, this is one of those, it's kind of a sweet little gig. And so, you know, like, I'm just trying to, you know, show them what I can bring to the table. You know, it'd be like, my dad would say, you know, number one, I want you to be happy. Number two, whatever you choose to do, try to be the best at it. And I don't say that as like I'm issuing a challenge. I'm just doing the best that I can. So anyway, it just, yeah, I believe in putting that best foot forward and showing them, you know, hey, look, this is, you know, if you like me, I'm available, and we'll see what happens. But I'm thrilled to get these, the load for them today, and the one I did midweek for them. I'm thrilled to get them done, and hopefully I made a good impression. I always forget how hot it gets so early in the morning. Made it out of the agriculture area over here at the Ocotillo Chevron, getting ready to head back over the hill. I'm gonna go in here and get Lou and I, each of us, a cold beverage. Probably take him for a walk, maybe fly the drone around a little here, just see what I can see, and send off that invoice. But yeah, today's pretty much done. Just gotta take the trip back home. Who's a good boy? You're thirsty, huh? You're thirsty. You're a good boy. No. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. All right. Guy inside was asking me about the camera. I told him, I'm like, I got a little small little trucking YouTube channel. I said I take people on adventures with me and my bulldog, and you know, just out here working today, making a vlog. And he's like, you got a bulldog? Can I see him? So Lou's pulling me over here. We're gonna go inside, and kind of one of the fun things of traveling with a cool little dog is people want to see him. He's definitely the star of the show, not me. Lou, somebody wants to say hi to you. Are you gonna be on your best behavior? You're allowed to go in the store, but you have to act right. Come on, let's go say hi. This is him. He had to smell the entire parking lot. But this is Lou.
Lou?
Lucius. I call him Lou for short. All right, you probably hear Lou. He sounds like he's dying in the background. That's how out of breath he got from doing a little walk, although it's hot. I'll give him credit for that. It is, according to my temperature gauge, says it's a 102. I think that's feeding off of some of the engine temperature. It's for sure 95 outside. So he's a hot dog. I got him a cold water. He went in and said hello to Seth, who works out here. Shout out to Seth. I don't know if he'll check out the channel, but he was interested in it, so I told him about it. Seth out here at the Chevron in Ocotillo. Pleasure meeting you. Clean the glass. No more little bugs. I think, when I clean the glass and Lou's in here and he jumps on the window, I think the inside of the glass might be dirtier than the outside. I mean, it looks a lot better, but I need to hit the inside up pretty well. I'm gonna work on this invoice. Now you might say, just do it when you get home. The problem is, and I know my mind, if I get home and my family wants to go out to lunch, we'll go out to lunch and then we'll start doing stuff. And then, next thing it'll be like, I'll do it tomorrow. And the next thing I know, it'll be like Wednesday or Thursday and be like, I got to do that invoice. It is very possible with today's technology. I just turned 48. I just had a birthday. I grew up without all this technology. It is absolutely possible to run your entire trucking business mobily from your truck. I'm not sponsored, affiliated, anything by this app. I'll have the information for this app come up, but here's the thing I love about it. It's free. Are there any downsides to it? Yeah, they put their little watermark on every invoice you create, but honestly, that doesn't even matter. I've sent invoices out to multiple people, and I've never had somebody be like, oh, you cheap ass, why don't you buy a real invoice generator? They don't care. So what I need to do now is, in order to get paid, how do truckers get paid? I've done the work. I have proof pictures of, the truck at the, what did they want? They wanted the trailer number, they wanted the license plate, they wanted any trailer damage, and proof of life pictures of it at the pickup, proof of life at the destination. So I'm gonna send them 3 documents. I'm gonna cover everything about the pickup in one. I'll have it come up on the screen. I'm gonna cover everything about the drop off, and then I'm gonna send them the invoice, and I'm gonna get that done before I get back on the road and start heading back to my home. All right, about 20 minutes of messing around with pictures, making these look like how I want. They wanted pictures of the pickup, pictures of the drop-off, any existing stuff. I just read over the fine details of everything. I make the invoice number on here match the load number that they give me in the rate con. It just keeps, I'm sure it's probably easier for them. It for sure is easier for me as far as keeping my the business end of this business all together, and be sure that what's paid, what's pending, what's due, that type of stuff. I always say that on these invoices, different brokers, different customers, different whoever are gonna treat these things different. I always just say 30 days. I don't do factoring because one of the things of the invoice is you have to put a due date on there. I always just say 30 days. I figured that's standard. I've never had anybody deviate from that. Most of the time, they'll pay me before then, but if it takes 30 days, it takes 30 days. That's fine. I don't believe in factoring. I just being sure everything is here. Send them a nice little note. Let's do this and send it. Let's see if my cell service out here in the desert is gonna work. Outbox. It's trying to send. Hey, if it waits till I get home and this is on Wi-Fi, that's cool. I cleaned the glass. Let's get this thing on. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about here. I can get you looking at a clean glass. Take my wallet out. Went in and bought Lou a water. Come on, Lou. I gotta put the trash can up. I gotta keep this trash can here in my little stool here. Otherwise, he'll try to get in my lap the whole time I drive. But let's get on the road. I'm ready to turn this little camera on and show you the clean glass. Yes. One thing I tried on this trip, the first time doing it, and I'd love to hear, if you're still with me in the video and you have any experience with this, I'd love to hear back from you on this, and that is, just be sure we're good to go. Yes, we are. So I knew, I had this booked middle of the week, and so I knew what my Sunday was going to be looking like, and because I knew that, I tried posting my truck on the DAT load board. And if you're not familiar with that, there's how do truckers get work? If you're new to trucking, most people are familiar with the load board. That makes sense. You go on, there's a load, you can negotiate for a higher rate. Posting your truck on DAT is basically saying hey brokers, hey whoever, I have a truck available this Sunday around noon. I had posted it for noon, as luck would have it. It's 9:30 now, so hey, I would have been waiting around. But I posted a power-only truck out here for El Centro, and then it gives you the option on DAT of like, how do you want them to contact me? And it's like, I don't answer calls. I don't know the numbers to. It's like, contact me through email. I had 3 people reach out to me. And here's where it was kind of like a little off-putting. Now, when I negotiate with like brokers, customers, whoever like that, I always do that 100% of the time from a position of negotiation, never out of a position of like desperation. And I feel like by posting my truck, it kind of revealed too much information to these. It just so happens the 3 people who contacted me were all brokers. I'm not going to say names. I'm not talking crap about them. Look, I know they got a business to run, as do I. But it kind of, I feel like it revealed too much of the story, because all 3 of them, 2 of them were power only. One, I was considering bringing my trailer out here, leaving my trailer at the spot, going and finishing that load, then picking up my trailer, and I was actually going to go over to Yuma. So I was like, I kind of had the option of power only or bring my dry van out here. As soon as they find out that like you're in an area, and I assume that they probably go on to like Safer or something and see like, you know, where's your home? Oh, this guy's trying to get home. They absolutely treated that though like, oh, well, you know, I mean, the rates that they were offering me, and they would not budge on them. The rates that they were offering me, it was like, it was barely covering fuel. And like, as much as I'd love to get a load coming back, I have to make money on that. I unapologetically will say I have to make money on that. If I'm not going to make money on it, I'm not going to waste my time, my diesel, and everything just to take somebody's trailer back to cover fuel costs. I mean, one of them just outright said that to me. He's like, well, I'll cover your fuel. And it's like, homie, don't play that. I don't, you know, if you want to, if it, like, you just start thinking, and I don't know. I mean, I know that there's people who are going to disagree with me. I'm not looking to disagree with people. The one that was going to cover my fuel was picking up in Yuma and ending in City of Industry. And it's like, listen, in El Centro, I'm 70 miles away from home, 80 miles, somewhere in there to the yard. If I got run out to Yuma and you cover my fuel to go from Yuma to City of Industry, now I'm in City of Industry and I'm 120 miles from home. Make that make sense to me. And it's just like, well, I mean, I'll get somebody else to do it. It's like, cool. And I don't, you know, I'm not the emotional type. It's just like, hey, I understand. Like, cool. I'm like happy for you. That's great. It's not going to be me. But anyway, the point of this last little bit was like, have you ever had luck? And I know there's fraud, and I know that people, you know, like I kind of have a decent idea of like who to work with, who not to work with. But I'm just curious to get your thoughts on, like, you know, posting your truck on DAT. Do you think that that's a wise move, or do you think that puts you into now being in a position of desperation? Curious to hear from you. And as we climb out of the desert, this is where I'm going to hang this one up. Love doing this run. There's just so much history out here, especially if you're like a dork like me and you like stuff like this. I mean, you know, a little bit east of here, you got Eagle Mountain, Kaiser Steel. You probably never heard of Kaiser Steel, but I'm sure you've heard of Kaiser Permanente. The guy Kaiser who owned Kaiser Steel had his workers, they had like, today it's like a ghost town, but he was, every time a worker would get hurt, they'd have to send him to either LA or San Diego to get like patched up. He decided, what if I hire doctors and healthcare people to come out and work at my mining camp type thing? And that was the start of Kaiser Permanente. So, I mean, Eagle Mountain, I'm sure you've seen a movie. You may not even know, but I'm sure you've seen a movie that had Eagle Mountain in it. It's in a ton of them. I think it was in Terminator. I know Tenet was filmed out there, part of it. Stand By Me, everybody knows Stand By Me. Part of Stand By Me was filmed out there. And then that one that I loved so much as a kid, I think it was called Tough Guys, the train robbery movie. It was popular in the 80s. That one was filmed out there. You got Slab City. If you've never been out there, it's a fun little trip. If you play Grand Theft Auto 5, you've probably seen there's a monument inside Slab City. It's called Salvation Mountain. You've probably seen the rendition of that in Grand Theft Auto 5. That's cool. You got the Nylon Mud Pot. That thing's a trip. It's like the only one in the world that moves. Like, I guess mud pots are common, but it's the only one that moves. And you're ever driving on that road between El Centro and Palm Springs, I forget the number of it right now, but you're ever driving on that road, you'll notice that the road just curves all of a sudden. And they had to move it because the mud pot was gonna swallow the road up, and it just, you know, I dork out on stuff like this. It's like, that's fascinating, let's go see it. And then kind of where we're getting ready to pass now is coming up to Hakamba. That's where they had that, they call it the Impossible Railway. I am what you call I think most people would call me a train nerd. I think the correct term is rail fan. There's something about trains that just like turns me into a little kid. I could just sit there and like watch trains go by all day. Maybe it means I'm special. Hey, I'm special, then I'm cool with that. But, you know, there's this old railway out here. It's the largest curved wood trestle bridge. There's abandoned railroad cars. I've ridden my mountain bike through it, hiked it, done a bunch of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff out here. I love coming to this part of the state. It's beautiful to me. But hanging this one up here, I'm only bringing this up as like I never mean to crap on pharmacy. I never mean to like brag of what I'm doing, but I'll end it with this. I do have people who are in my life who are like, they'll find out I'm doing trucking, they're like, but you're a pharmacist. You're a pharmacist. I mentioned earlier what made me fall in love with this drive was running out to Walmart, you know, making as much OT money as I could on their dime, just driving to ridiculous locations in between shifts. They signed off on it, and it was legit. So it was like, you know, but that's what made me fall in love with this. But it's funny, and I never want to like flash the cash and seem like, oh, you know, trucking's so good, it's so good. But I have people in my life who are still like, you know, but why aren't you a pharmacist? Why aren't you like kind of like I'm letting them down that I'm driving a truck. First off, like, I don't give a I mean, I'm like, what did my dad say? Be happy. You know what? I mean, I was good at pharmacy, but I wasn't happy. I'm so happy doing this. And it's funny because the money I made coming out here, I mean, I left the yard this morning at like 4:40. The money I came out here doing 2 of these little trailer moves, I would have had to work 5 days, drive out to Calexico 5 times as a pharmacist. And I'm not trying to make it sound like the money's like that all the time. There's good times, there's bad times, but it's just money like this wasn't possible. I guess that's the big thing is like, I like to chase the carrot. I like to, you know, when there's an opportunity like this, I love that, like, okay, I just did in 10 hours away from home what would have taken me, if we're adding the drive time in too, and we have to because that's part of it, it would have taken me 70 or 80 hours of working as a pharmacist for Walmart. And hey, I love the drive part of it. The part I don't like is the 8 hours in the middle where I got to put on the white jacket and put on the pharmacist show. So it, you know, I have people ask, and it's like, you know, my basic answer to them is like, you know, I just find this line of work much more enjoyable. But I mean, you know, let's be realistic. Brass tacks, end of the day, we all need to eat, and I love that there's opportunities like this. I try to be strategic with the loads that I take. I know some guys are like, let's count the miles. I try to make the miles count, and I feel like I've done that. Obviously, I've worked more than just these 2 days this week, but these 2 little trailer adjustment things out here in the desert. I've enjoyed coming out here. I hopefully have put my best foot forward, and I'd love to get some, you know, follow-up or residual work out of this. I've done everything I can to try for that, and, you know, it's out of my hands now. So anyway, just wanted to throw that in there because I have people who are close with me are like, but you're not a pharmacist. Like, yeah, I'm not. And so anyway, I thought I'd throw that in there. I appreciate you taking the trip with me. This is kind of a different one for me, but a fun one. Appreciate you taking the trip. Hope this video serves you well. Take care.